that's some good weed. That's some good weed, bro. Dude, this is some good weed.
You Pauls know it. I used to be a big-time Sam Hyde fan when I was in the far right. I even bought one of these stupid shooter t-shirts back in the day. Sam Hyde has been considered one of the greatest internet comedians of internet history. At least that's what the 99% of his ball lickers tend to agree and keep harassing me about. However, Sam Hyde is also one of the cases where an internet celebrity will easily fall from grace, even for myself, in one of the most incompetent and embarrassing ways possible. Even to the point of peers of him like Charles Carroll completely separating themselves from the guy himself. Now, what led Sam to this fate? Most of you who are gonna watch this video and leave a hate comment and a dislike will have one side of the story. That Adult Swim blacklisted him from Hollywood and he became an anti-hero of based comedians. However, the reality of it is that not only Sam has fallen from grace due to his incompetence at even being professional about his issues, but also that Sam Hyde is desperately clinging to these last drops of relevancy in the stupidest way possible. Pure ANCAP style. So, you know, a lot of y'all just need to learn to disagree, because no matter what kind of comments you put out there in my video or whatever dislikes you spam, you're gonna make it possible for this video to be seen by more people, even people like me who already dislike Hyde with a passion. So, for the rest of you who just want to know the great fall from grace of Samuel Whitcomb Hyde, sit back, relax, fasten your seatbelts, get cozy, get comfy, grab your popcorn, your coffee, your Chucky milk, and your tendies. This is undoubtedly, unmistakably, and certainly the story about how Sam Hyde sucks as the unfunniest, untalented, desperate, and irrelevant far-right comedian in the year of our Lord 2022.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
In order to understand why Sam Hyde has fallen from grace, we must understand the background story of what led Sam to this fate. We must go back to the year 2016. Trump triggers the liberals most than ever, even way back when before QAnon was a goddamn thing, and Hillary Clinton was at the peak of further liberal embarrassment. Around this time, this is where, after the Gamergate fiasco, many right-wing and libertarian figures arise on the internet as solid internet celebrities and settle themselves as an important part of internet history. You got your Sargons, your Mr. Medicars, your Milos, and then there was a comedy troupe riding the wave of Trumpism. Meet $1 Million Extreme, MDE. MDE was a comedy troupe that began way back with Sam Hyde accompanied by the rest of his trio, Nick Rochford and Charles Carroll, the Three Stooges of internet right-wing comedy, who spend most of their days doing comedy sketches, trolling people IRL, or just having Sam Hyde doing, whatever the fuck this is. Of course, MDE wanted a bigger piece of fame, and not having enough by already spreading right-wing comedy propaganda on YouTube, which back then promoted this sort of content, I know it, they decided that they wanted something big. bold, impactful. So around this time, they presented Adult Swim a pilot for their show World Peace, and they succeeded for a while, having the show on air on Adult Swim for a full one season. To understand how big World Peace was so far peak $1 million extreme. They garnered millions of viewers on Adult Swim, and it was probably one of the highest rated shows on the network. It guaranteed nearly a place for MDE in the Hall of Fame amongst legends such as Tim and Eric Andre. And so Sam Hyde and company enjoyed their year of fame. They rode the wave of becoming mainstream for a while, until eventually Sam Hyde's incompetence led to the series of events that led to the show's cancellation and Sam's further fall from grace. Now, anybody with a couple brain cells know what the show is all about, and thanks to investigative journalism such as the one from BuzzFeed's Joseph Bernstein, people noticed that the show catered to a certain right-wing public fond on anti-Semitism and racism. Now, I'm pretty sure that with stuff like this, there's nothing worth to be cancelled, isn't it? There's an unreleased sketch that screams white supremacist themes, a song called Jews Rock. Well, I'm pretty sure the Adult Swim executives were fine with that, somehow. Well then, Joe Bernstein found this stuff out in a BuzzFeed article, especially considering Joe found out that Sam was retweeting and endorsing on Twitter a bunch of Nazi Trump shit. So the bad PR Adult Swim was causing with this show under the squatting of this article caused Adult Swim to just consider that maybe they should take the show off the air. Notably, Sam Hyde noticed and acted like a complete buffoon about it, framing as if the article was talking about hitting swastikas in the show. Now, I'm not pretty sure about hitting swastikas, but Sam, you had literally white supremacist messages in your show, which anybody, even a Sam Hyde right-wing fan like I used to be, could notice by first contact. I mean, come on Sam, everybody knew what you guys were up to. Sam also acted like a complete man-child in another one of his trolling attempts by calling Joe Bernstein and yelling at his phone, showing how unprofessional Sam was at handling the situation and how Sam was probably thinking this will shape the show for some reason. But that didn't matter because due to the peer pressure that Adult Swim was having and not because of Adult Swim's goodwill, they canned World Peace with just one season by the end of 2016. All that fame down the toilet. Phew. Notably after this, it was rather noticeable that the relation between Sam Hyde and Charles Scarrow grew even more distant, even to the point of Charles completely disassociating with Sam altogether. So Charles ended up streaming exclusively on Twitch up to this day. And let me tell you, Charles is by far a way better kind of person than Sam Hyde is, even if Charles looks like a weirdo cult leader, which is pretty fine for his spiritual and laugh advice that he gives for free on Twitch, something that Sam isn't very good at. So, Sam Hyde, after the cancellation of World Peace, tried to cling to the last drop of relevancy he could get at this point in the most pathetic way possible, and not just by doing mass shooting hoaxes. Notably, one of the first cases of Sam's attempts at gaining back the money he lost with World Peace was opening a Gumroad for his Hyde Wars content. Now, Hyde Wars, his vlog series, had been a long-running series even before World Peace, but Sam has decided to paywall those for $5 a month. What Hyde Wars is mostly composed of is shitty laugh advice from Sam himself. Now, I can't deny some of his laugh advice is legit good, especially for broken 20-year-olds, but you know, your dad can give you that advice. Your therapist can give you that advice. Even your friends IRL can give you that sort of advice. What seems criminal to me is that Sam Hyde charges $5 a month for the same kind of advice that anyone else can give you for free. And his advice, if not the worst, can be mediocre at best, mainly composing itself from shilling for a shitcoin cryptocurrency, reviewing cars, shilling for a shitcoin cryptocurrency, dim-witted financial advice, shilling for a shitcoin cryptocurrency, meritocracy bullshit, shilling for a shitcoin cryptocurrency, hustle culture dog shit, shilling for a fucking shitcoin cryptocurrency. And the list of shitty life advice doesn't end there. He even goes to the point of having some of his Hat Wars videos exposing big tech companies and even Adult Swim with such piss poor evidence and talking points. Only if Sam Hyde will invest in goddamn crypto and NFTs. Another one of Sam Hyde's landmark content of his Gumroad page is a sequel to a Kickstarter TV, which again has been a long-running series, this time of reviewing Kickstarters. Only instead of doing it like IDOPS and reviewing Kickstarter scams and the sort, he just bullies random people on Kickstarter, doubling down on what IDOPS originally did sometimes. Now here's the thing, IDOPS does this sort of Kickstarter reviews for free on YouTube. I don't really again understand why Sam Hyde will paywall this for $5 a fucking month for the same crap you can see on YouTube for free. Now let me preface this by saying that if not anarchic, Sam Hyde's videos editing is just pure dog shit. Mostly composed to the same level of editing as a YouTube poop from 2009 about Hotel Mario or Link Faces of Evil. Sometimes even to the point of cramming huge walls of text constantly spouting hateful rhetoric. You know, the so-called hidden swastikas. Even then, just putting an actual hidden swastika in the videos will make no goddamn difference from whatever right-wing bullshit is peddling in the videos themselves. And then there's Happy World Daddy, which is basically World Peace's sketch comedy, but 10 times shittier. You can also notice that Sam Hyde now runs a company called Gum98 and has found some new friends to run it, including how could we forget talking about Frank Hassel? You know, Sam Hyde's goon who keeps going behind him at all times, who's also trying desperately for that e-celeb fame by just trolling people IRL by provoking them into negative situations. Yeah, Frank, peak comedy right there. Not only Frank has starred some of Sam's sketches on his Gumroad, but also Frank now has his own Gumroad too. Long story short, Frank Hassel decided to harass Boogie298 into getting Boogie arrested at his own home, and I don't think it's fair that Boogie got in jail just because Boogie is a goddamn moron on legs. But also because the justice system in America is so broken, shits like Frank Hassel could easily get away with shit like this unharmed. Now, I am surprised how the hell Frank will get away from trouble swiftly without any harm, since he's obviously even provoking random strangers into getting himself in danger. But you can also notice how Frank Hassel is the kind of person who will shit his pants at the first sign of trouble. Now, I don't know how the hell Frank Hassel will proclaim himself as a chat king in there, because this kind of shit wouldn't make him look even like the slightest sign of being a chat there. Of course, knowing the safety he was under when he was previously called My God Hats and was trolling on games like CSGO, I'm pretty sure I'm not surprised he might have a bit of trouble coping with the trouble he gets himself for a couple giggles for his brainless sheep fans. Nowadays, Frank Hassel is pretty unfunny, and his only shtick is to harass random people in public expecting a negative reaction. Don't feed the troll! Now, Frank Hassel has been accompanying Sam Hyde on his also unfunny sketches, even to the point of wearing diapers. I swear, this must have been a perfect representation of Frank Hassel's career so far. Also, as word of mouth from Frank Hassel himself that he has told me once on private, legit, they seem to be trying desperately to make games. Yeah, such as Joyride something, I completely forgot the name. It was supposed to be this big ass game project that we're gonna publish on Steam, but here's a problem. According to Frank, the only one guy is working on it, and he's having trouble focusing on those projects. No matter whatever videos Sam puts of work in progress stuff about the games, it was supposed to be another peak for MDE like World Peace, except in video game format. I will not be surprised if Gaben will can the whole game for the same reasons Adult Swim did with World Peace. Sam Hyde's sketches are mediocre at best, featuring even a bunch of crackhead weirdos to do weird-ass comedy sketches. I guess the main point that he was trying to get across is that his humor is post-ironic, mimetic, or even just ironic. But let's face it, his understanding of those meta-artistic terms just scratches the surface of what he basically reads on 4chan's Poll board. Eventually, Sam Hyde will slow down this type of content to bring you even lamer shit. He recently just started up pseudo podcast by the name of Perfect Guy Live, which is also mostly paywalled under his Gumroad for $5 a month. Also branding it under the domain mde.tv, just run desperately to cling to MDE relevancy. Hell, his whole site even rips off Pod Awful. Why do right-wingers keep ripping each other off? At this point, Sam Hyde has his own bans from multiple platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. His current Twitter is a slur too. Apparently, while promoting his latest Twitter, he's also brushed shoulders with Nick Fuentes, which is even more pathetic since Nick Fuentes is a well-known Holocaust-denying white supremacist. Now, in his new podcast show, he just reacts to a bunch of videos on shit while spewing unfunny, nonsensical horseshit. Remember when Ethan Klein allegedly ripped off Sam Hyde? Now it seems that Sam Hyde's stake is to rip off the H3 podcast for a bit. Of course, he does this in the company of Nick Rochford, who, for the most part, acts like Sam Hyde's personal sheep, like most of these brainless fanboys. Sam Hyde also got banned from a merch printing service because he had a Jeffrey Epstein t-shirt there. If you still have it now, it seems to be a very rare collector's item on eBay. And Sam has his own network of YouTube channels promoting his videos, like Lil Shitpost. You know, channels that Sam totally doesn't run to promote his shitty content. At this point, Sam Hyde's attempt at staying relevant is pathetic at most. He remains as an unfunny, angry, and mentally ill man with a long-lost career at comedy, no matter whatever he says or what his fans agree. And I tell ya, if you manage to mess with him or his fans in any platform, like YouTube or Twitter, his fans will pounce on you, harassing you to death. I know this because I experienced it as one of the few people who dare blow against his direction. If I ever wanted to be famous, relevant, funny, and an important celebrity, I wouldn't obviously need to have my fans as if it was a literal cult. Especially he wouldn't rely on desperately trying to get into a fight with people like Hassan Piker. I don't think a guy in such bad shape will be able to beat Hassan Piker in a fight, and I mean, come on, man. Come the fuck on. And it's no wonder why people like Charles Carroll immediately distance themselves from Sam, moving away from the sort of bigoted shit that Sam does. And Charles does better content for free than Sam ever does. Way better. Even then, if you feel bad, just think you are making way better content than Sam does. Hell, you could make reaction videos. You could make commentary videos. You could make lazy video essays. You could even make Kids Toys crappy videos. And it will still be infinitely way better content than that of Sam Hyde. And I'm not even exaggerating. Dude, didn't this guy eat shit, dude? Bah! 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 I didn't totally hide hidden swastikas in my show, dude. Like, dude, you just eat shit. Bah! Bah! I've slurred, taste slurred, blah, 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 blah. You ate shit, dude. Bah! Bah! Leave a dislike and a hate comment and unsub if you want to see any more content. See ya around.
Wanna help support the show? Join the Goon Fund today at jmaa.tv/joingoonfund. Gain access to behind-the-scenes content, early access to videos, source codes for games, artwork, and much more.